Well, 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 here we go again. We're having a day. Hello, and good time zone. And what is up, gamers? Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Let me just check and make sure that my chat bot is doing its thing correct. There we go. We have the egg. Hello, everybody. Hello, Turnip. Thank you for the lurk. I hope you have a lovely time. Hello, Dan. Welcome in. Dan says, woo, I made it first, I think. You are! Congratulations. It's lovely to see you, and welcome on in. Monk, hello, hello. It's lovely to see you as well. Welcome, welcome. How is everyone doing? How are your Mondays going? I hope you're having the loveliest of lovely days. Oh, I'm certainly having a day. I mean, it's Monday. What do you expect? But yeah, I'm all right. All things considered, getting over this god awful cold that's going on into its third week now, I think. And I've brought over some hand cream because I just noticed how dry my hands are. I went into the other room to get something and stood there for like a solid minute and could not remember what it was that I'd gone into the room to get. So, oops, and sorry about that. Hi, I'm here now, hello. I do have a delicious bottle of water. I have a delicious cup of tea. I have a not delicious, inedible, but very soothing hand cream. Not sponsored. I just think this hand cream is really good. Anyways. Dan says, yeah, I won the stream. Hell yeah, you did go. Enjoy your no prize, because I didn't get one for that. Sorry. I will likely be doing a giveaway on my anniversary streams, though, so you've got that to look forward to later on this month. But for now, I'm just doing some painting. This, the idea for this painting comes from the Stream Inc. Cozy January prompt list, which I thought was really, really cute. I love the idea behind it is kind of just, here are a couple of very soft prompt ideas, sort of weekly over January, and just kind of, just do whatever you feel like, which is nice. I like a nice no pressure event like this. It feels real good. And the one for this cluster of days was the prompt snowy windows, and it got me thinking about a walk that I took to the supermarket on the weekend and how incredibly foggy it was, and I was like, oh, I wanna incorporate that somehow into this painting. So I decided to the lore here, I suppose, is that it is a very cold day today. There's not a lot of people out and about. A lot of people are staying in, but the coffee shop is open, and the ghost barista, the Boorista, is here with plenty of coffee beans available for brewing. If anyone does find themselves out in the cold and needs to stop in to get warm and have a nice hot beverage, and they've got a nice little cup of coffee here, and oh, wouldn't you know it, this person's out on a cold walk, and the ghost barista is looking out the window, and they see this little buddy who's wearing a little scarf because it's cold out, even though they're a little ghosty, who spies them in the window and is waving hello, and yeah, that's about it. That's the story of this piece. I hope it's okay. But it took a while to arrive at this. I was originally just gonna do like I hadn't initially had the idea of doing the ghost barista, just because I had the idea of someone looking out of a window, first of all, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Part of the reason that we're doing this as our little Boorista is that it makes things slightly easier for me, because it is just the less like intricate shapes and facial features a character has, the easier it is to translate them to like this angle. And there were several other types of creatures I was considering, and I was like, I know how I draw them from basically every other angle, but not that sort of I'm almost but not quite entirely facing away from the viewer angle, which we've got going here. So So I kind of settled on Ghost because Ghost has the fewest features I have to deal with. I did try initially drawing like a bear, but I was like, okay, so just having to go through, I'm going to have to sit down and devote like a page of my sketchbook to just figuring out how. I know how I draw bears, but I don't know how I draw bears from this specific angle, and there is a difference between those two things. So that's a drawing for a different day. But yeah, Arrow Neko, hello, how are you doing? It's lovely to see you. Welcome on in. Hello, hello. I hope you're having a lovely Monday, and I hope you had a good weekend as well. I hope everybody had good weekends. This household remains a little under the weather, so we've been pretty subdued, pretty quiet, not up to much. I'm planning to cook veggie hot dogs in the air fryer for dinner tonight. Or possibly on the stovetop, depending on what is the least amount of effort, if I'm being honest. And I'm going to try not to cough too much on stream. But it's likely to happen, because I've been coughing so much. I'm basically trying to leave the house as little as possible this week. Because I don't know if I'm still, like, contagious, and I don't really want to get anyone else sick. So, doing a lot of work from home this week. 0 out of 10 do not recommend getting sick. It sucks. Anyways. But yeah, I think this is going to be a cute little piece to paint. I haven't completely decided what paints I want to use, but I'm thinking it might be nice to, maybe I'll just do all of the pieces for this set of monthly prompts with these, like, Moonglow paints that I made. Because they're just really fun to work with. And I quite like what I can do with them. But also I feel like the range of shades that I have from these, I think, shears down to some really nice sort of snowy, you know, and shadows in snow type colors. And okay, like 5 minutes ago, I got my phone out because I wanted to give you a kind of an idea of what I want to do with what's outside the windows. Because the vibe is very inspired by a walk that I went on the other day, when I was picking up groceries, and it was like Silent Hill level foggy outside. Okay, it was like the camera honestly makes things more visible than they were IRL, which is saying something, because like there was not a lot that was visible. Like 10 feet in front of you was starting to kind of fade away, which I think is really, you know, sort of like atmospheric and cool, but also a little bit scary, but like in a fun way. So I enjoyed that. Oh no, Neko is sick. Oh, Neko, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry to hear that. I wish you robust antibodies and a speedy recovery. I hope you feel better soon. I'm really sorry to hear that you're sick as well. This seems to be a very intensive, there's something going round time of the year. And it sucks. Did you try upping the draw distance, sis Monk? You know, I did, but it was so limited. It was so limited. There was not a lot of, I don't know if it just didn't have the, if it was just a little, not sophisticated enough to deal with a particularly lengthy draw distance, but never mind. Was 10 feet away fading away, or were you fading away when you look too far ahead? Oh my god, am I fading away? Can you see my withered hand? Can you see my horrible, the one thing that I really feel bad about on streams is that y'all have to look at my hands all the time, and I try to make my hands look okay, but like they're still just a pair of the middle-aged hands of someone, you know, with who bites their nails and tries to moisturize regularly, but you know. Anyways, what was I gonna say? I'm gonna take a sip of my water because I'm hoping that will help with what's going on with my throat at the moment. And then we can look at actually doing some painting. Heck. Oh, Dan says, we think he's living their best life. It's fine. Hell yeah. They are trying. I do try and be expressive, at least with my hands, so you're not just looking at a blank screen the whole time. Or, you know, a blank screen. Like, when I'm not painting, I mean, you're not just looking at, like, a static canvas. You're looking at me telling you things by gesturing with my hands. I'm not always great at it. Sometimes I get distracted and just start fidgeting with something off screen. So I apologize for that. But, it's okay because I hadn't filled the paint water yet. Anyways, older viewers may remember that back on Thursday I did a little painting for the Shooting Stars prompt. If you didn't see it, I did finish it on Friday. Was it Friday? Yeah, I finished it on Friday. And did post it on social. So if you want to see what it looks like when it was done, I can show you that. Hopefully it'll work. Hello? There it is. Okay, this is my Instagram. Every time I post a new thing to Instagram, I lose a follower. It's very exciting. And this is how this one turned out. So I did end up using the gold paints for like the little city lights below, and also the stars in the sky. I used three different shades of gold paint. So I used more of like a white gold paint for the stars, more like straight ahead yellow gold for the city lights, and then also the little reflections of the lights on the water in the bay there. And you can barely see it in the scan, but I did use a little bit of like fainter red gold for some of the more sort of suburban hillside homes up sort of furthest away from the viewer. You can see, I think you can see them better here in this clip, if this clip is working, where you can see the way that the paint sparkles and shines when you see it. That's the joy of metallic paints, is that they're really hard to display on the interwebs. But never mind. Monk says, during online meetings I have to sit on my hands cross-legged. Is that because you are trying to like not fidget? Cause I just actually most of the time, either in an online meeting I'm taking notes or I'm just doodling. I doodle a lot during meetings. If you look at my notes after I've been in a meeting about something, you will see like, oh, there's a little sketch of a lighthouse. There's a couple of birds I saw earlier. Here's just a scrungly little man I wanted to do a little sketch of. You know, he has a ridiculously outsized mustache and he's wearing a funny hat, you know, like. Here is a pegacorn. None of these sketches are good, by the way. But I keep my hands busy, and that helps me listen. I think that's something that's always bothered me about, you know, sort of like you know, you have to demonstrate that you're paying attention by sitting still. But actually, you know, my experience as someone who was like a university student was that, oh my god, I retained so much more information from lectures if I was actively like writing notes down, because doing something physical while I'm listening makes me like understand things better. And if I'm solely focused on trying to listen, it just sucks. Anyways, I'm gonna take a sip of my tea and then I'm gonna go get the my swatches for our paint, and then I will figure out how the heck I want to how do I want to attack this. And by attack, I mean, you know, paint gently, because this is a gentle stream. God, what is wrong with me today? I'm sorry. Ugh. Anyways, I'll be back in a second. Swatchies! Swatchies! Where are you? Okay. Alright. I got my swatchies. I'm back. Hello. And happy days to you. So these are the colors. Well, some of these are our colors.
Attention.
Never
Twitch
mind.
user Sammy Kelch.
Hello.
Shoppers.
Hello. Hello, Raiders. Welcome in. Sammy Ann, thank you so much for the raid. That is very kind. Welcome, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Ah, it is lovely to see you, Sammy Ann. How was your stream? Welcome on in. Thank you so much for the raid. Lugia, welcome in as well. And hello, hello, Raiders. It's lovely to see you all. Welcome, welcome. Let me get a shout out for the lovely Sammy Ann in the chat. Hopefully it'll work today. Was having excuse me. Yay! Last time I streamed, it was giving API errors, but it seems to have corrected itself. Thank goodness. Anyways, welcome in, friends. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you, and welcome to the stream. For anyone who's new here, my name is Twitch user Sammy Kelch. I'm a variety streamer. I do cozy art streams on Mondays and Thursdays. I do cozy game streams on Fridays. I'm hoping to do some speed running this Friday. And when I say speed running, I mean it will be slow as molasses because I am a certified slowpoke when it comes to video games. But we'll have fun anyways. Working on some snowy windows today for our little wee painting. And hope that it'll turn out all right. But yeah, lovely to see you. Welcome on in. Sammy Ann, what were you up to today? Sammy Ann says we were doing self-portraits for my business cards and hopefully do collector card series for people to collect. Oh, that is very cool. And as always, we are an art tax optional stream. If you do have anything that you would like to share or you would like to share your Instagram or whatever, please do let me know. Feel free to whisper me a link or just point me in the direction of your Instagram because you know I know where that is. Sammy Ann says it's perfect. It is snowing here. Oh my goodness. I have not seen snow for quite some time. I saw frost on the weekend and that was about it. Though I didn't see, for anyone who's just come in, I was talking earlier about how incredibly foggy it was on Saturday when I went out, which partially has inspired this art piece. Excuse me. But the snow, we've had snow in the UK. We've got snow in the UK. It's snowing in other parts of the UK, just wildly. Has it made it to my little corner of Oxfordshire? No, of course not. Absolutely not. It is brown here. Oh well. Anyway, Sammy Ann says foggy. I love fog first thing in the morning. It is. I find it so incredibly cozy. So incredibly cozy. It's like, I don't know. I will say when I went out on the weekend and it was literally foggy, like in the middle of, like incredibly foggy in the middle of the afternoon. It felt very Silent Hill, but like in a cozy way. Like it just felt cozy and nice. I took a little moment to have like a 2-minute walk in the park before coming to the bus stop to go home because it was just, oh, it was so nice. So nice. Love it. Anyways, Dan says, we had snow last weekend and then it barely went above freezing last week, so it stayed there until today. Dan, I am so jealous, but also I recognize that infrastructurally it can be a little bit of a pain in the backside here in the UK, but still it's so cozy. Oh, goodness gracious. Gentle snowfall and fog are two of my favorite morning walks, says Sammy Ann. Wholeheartedly agree. Oh my goodness. The number of times the rare occasions where we get snow in this country, and I will just throw my coat on over my pajim jams and go outside to just go walk in it and just flap with delight because I love snow so much. It's so nice. Anyways, I have had a directive from our friend Sammy Ann to have a look at Instagram. So let's go take a little look-see at Instagram. And see what Sammy Ann's been up to. This isn't Sammy Ann's art. This is my art. So let me just tab over and have a look and see what Sammy Ann's been up to because especially this little friend. And in fact, I commented on this one, a friend, because this is an absolute friend. For anyone who missed it, Sammy Ann did some absolutely wonderful winter-themed dragons around the holiday time. Including this pine cone dragon who's so stinking cute. So stinking cute. The little pine needles sticking out. The texture. That must have... Okay, the texture on this dragon, the pine cone scales must have taken so long, and I love them so much. I love their little face. This is so cute. I love it so much. And the aurora. I am a sad Canadian. I've never actually seen the aurora in real life. Not once. And I lived in Canada for 30 years, damn it. Never seen it. Very sad. But I'm very happy that there are folks out there like Sammy Ann who are willing to commit it to watercolor so that I can feel like I have. Very appreciated. Sorry about the coughs. I'm trying to keep them contained, but it's very hard work. There was also this piece of a very sweet little Christmassy scene. I do wonder. There is some bit of foliage above these two. Are they gonna smooch? Are they gonna do a little smooch? I hope so, because I would love that for them. So stinking cute. Anyways, thank you again, Sammy, and I really appreciate it. Oh, sorry about the coughs. It just keeps happening. Anyways, Monks has planned an early morning walk with my girlfriend. Didn't realize there would be a snowstorm. Ended up walking around the side of a parking structure instead. Oh, beans. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope that it was still a pleasant walk. Anyways, Sammy Ann says, I too am not able to catch the auras frequently as I like. Yeah, it's one of those things where like where was it the entire time that I lived in Canada? I don't know, but apparently it wasn't where I was. Probably the suburb that I lived in was too light polluted to really see anything anyways, but then there were, last year there were some aurora sightings here in the UK, and I did try to, like, when they said that there was expected to be sightings, in the UK at this time, I did go outside to try and see something, but I think because of, like, where my house is situated, I would have had to walk a pretty considerable distance to somewhere where the view wouldn't be blocked by, like, other buildings and houses and stuff in, like, every useful direction. And all I could see was just regular night sky, so nah, forget it. Oh well. Anyways, I stood outside my house and tried to look above some of the neighboring homes, and I couldn't see jack, so I just went in and felt sad. The FOMO was very real, but never mind. Sammy Ann says, I'm north enough for the occasional show, but the light pollution doesn't help. Yeah. I guess that's another thing to consider about when I lived in Canada, that I was in very South Canada, which, like, latitude speaking, is pretty close to, like, Northern California, actually, in terms of where it is relative to the equator, so that's further south than people think of when they think of Canada, I think. So, anyways. Dan says, so you're saying the reason you've not seen them is because you couldn't be arsed to. Wow, thanks. No, I very much could have been arsed, but weirdly enough, I didn't want to go, like, walking a significant distance from my home alone in the middle of the night. That doesn't feel safe. So I wanted to not do that. Because personal safety. If, like, I had friends who were just like, oh, we're just walking home from the pub, and we looked up, and it was like, wow, that's neat, and took some photos, and the photos looked even cooler, and I'm like, wow, bully for you. Anyways. Monk says, I think this past summer the Aurora Borealis was visible around a 2-hour drive west of the Greater Toronto area. That's very close to where my family come from. This isn't fair. Anyways, I'm gonna disappear for, like, a moment. I'll BRB. Hey everybody, I'm back. Sorry about that. Pro tip, do not get sick. It sucks. I feel miserable. Do not feel good. But also, I just had to blow my nose, and I did not want to do that with the mic on. So, anyways, Sammy Ann is doing a lurk. Thank you so much for the lurk, Sammy Ann, and thank you again for the raid. Let me get another shout out for Sammy Ann in the chat, because she is great. Does wonderful artwork, is a delightful person, a fellow Canadian, and yeah, you should go give him a follow. Anyways, right. So here's where we're at with the Boorista lore, and that is that I I did a painting like back in, I don't know, maybe September of last year, of just a little ghost barista in their little ghostly coffee shop. And I just think they're a fun character to draw, and I thought that I would incorporate them today. And also, it's a different, I'm drawing a different angle of the coffee shop for the first time, which is, you know, no presh, so that's fun. But I don't know, I've been periodically drawing little ghosty type characters for a very, very long time, and then I kind of didn't for a while. As much. I kind of branched out, but I still like drawing little ghosts going about their lives, like, you know, this little buddy making a flat white and stuff, because why not? Yeah, I need to consider. I've got a couple of things that I'm kind of wondering about, and I'm not entirely sure what to do. I'm kind of wondering these windows that I think are, you know, sort of probably at the front of the cafe. I'm wondering if I want to put some little tables in front of them, because I feel like that could be quite cute to just have like little tables, or like maybe a little countertop where people can sit and look out the window and drink their coffees. I think maybe tables. I think maybe tables is the right call. For this cafe, just based on like the shapes of the windows and stuff. I think that would work really well. If it was just like one big long continuous window, I would be more likely to do like a little bar where people sit in the sort of tall seats. But for this one, I think just regular table will do. So I've got to draw that in, so that's fun. And then I get to put stuff on the tables. Oh, good, I'm making this more complicated for myself. Hooray! Anyways, Monk says, fortunately, I spent my childhood licking the ground, so my immune system is pretty state-of-the-art. Oh my goodness. You know, I definitely ingested dirt as a child. Why is my immune... Oh, I know why. I know why. Because I didn't grow up in the UK. That's why. So... I don't have, like, my partner, my moderator / spouse is a British boy who was born and raised in this country, and I would say his immune system is definitely more robust than mine. He's currently having the same illness that I have, but I think he seems to be progressing his way through it faster than I am, because, as I say, I'm into my 3rd week of this nonsense, and I'm still sick, so, ugh, anyways. Okay, so I gotta draw some little tables, which I guess I'm gonna place slightly under these windows, so that I can do I want, is that weird? No, no, I'm taking it back. I'm not drawing tables in because it looks weird. I don't know. I feel like with the angles it's gonna get weird, so I'm just gonna not draw tables in, and it's just gonna be wall. It's just gonna be wall. It's fine, no worries. Anyways. Maybe there are tables, we just can't see them. I don't want to overcomplicate things too much, you know. Trying to keep things relatively simple here. It is not easy. Yeah, anyways. How are y'all? Did you have good weekends? Did you have interesting weekends? Did you see any ominous fog this weekend, or was it just me? Because, oh, biddle boy, did I see a lot of ominous fog this weekend. Sorry. Anyways. But, you know, like the fun kind of ominous fog. I'm by no means complaining about the ominous fog. I think it's fun. I would like to drop a couple of, I would like to drop a couple of little books into this windowsill, I think. I think that would be cute. At least I hope it'll be cute. Yeah. Or is it gonna end up looking weird? I don't know. I normally try not to do too much of my, like, sketch stage on stream, because I feel like it's a lot of just me expressing my crippling self-doubt about my own ideas and work. And I don't know if that's fun. So I try not to do too much of it on stream, but what the hey. There we go. We've got a couple of books hanging out in this window I think will be cute. Because we have established that this coffee shop does have, like, shelves of books that, I don't know if they sell the books or you can just read them while you're there, but they definitely do have, some books. So I thought it would be nice to just have some books be in it. I think I might also just do a little potted plant in this window might be cute. Keeping the details to a relative minimum, but not, you know, but not absent. Because a little bit of detail is fun. And there we go. Okay, yeah, I think that's cute. I like it. I think it hopefully adds some detail onto that little planter. Okay. All right. Let's go. Ah! Do I want to masking fluid out the bits that aren't, like, wall? Because the wall is going to be the darkest portion of the painting. And I don't really want to get that onto the windows of the ghost by mistake, so I might do a little bit of a masking fluid situation just so I can be a little bit looser. Actually, yeah, I think I will do that, in fact. Okay, so, Monk says, honestly, it's nice to see that someone as talented as yourself still has doubt about their art. Makes for a more genuine experience. Me think, what the heck? Monk, that's incredibly kind of you to say. Thank you. It is not easy for me to think of myself as talented. I usually think of myself as just trying my best. And that's about it. I'm gonna scoot these paints over here, actually, I think, because I think that'll be easier. And we're gonna do a little bit of masking fluid, which is always fun, I think. So, hopefully it'll be a fun time. Do people like the sound of me shaking the masking fluid, or should I do it as far away from the microphone as possible? I'm going to do it as far away from the microphone as possible, but if you are missing that, I will recreate it for you in just a second. Okay, and for those of you who did want the masking fluid shaking sounds, just there you go. It was kind of like that, but a little bit grosser. Masking fluid is kind of nasty. I'm not 100% what it's made from. Some kind of gum, I assume. But it's an interesting material if you've never worked with it, because it's this very paint-like, it goes down as this very paint-like fluid when it's wet, and then when it dries into this, like, gummy stuff that you can just kind of peel off the paper, which is interesting as it is kind of nasty. And when I say kind of nasty, I once had a situation where I found just like a massive lump of dried masking fluid that had accumulated inside this bottle of masking fluid. And I extricated it from the bottle, and it was just, oh my god, because obviously it still had like the liquid masking fluid on the, like, sort of surrounding it. It was just the grossest texture. Absolutely disgusting. Disgusting! Anyways, but yeah. So that's a fun time. Anywho, it is very winter here in the Northern Hemisphere, and I hope everyone is keeping nice and toasty warm, enjoying nice warm beverages. I have a mint tea today. It is just a good old, boring old peppermint and spearmint blend. Just because, I don't know, I feel like my sometimes, to a certain extent, my tastes get really basic when I'm feeling sick. Like, I'm less inclined to want sort of my usual array of interesting flavors and stuff, and more likely to gravitate towards stuff that's just, like, mint, ginger, it's all good. Mint tea is great, though, says Mel. I do love a mint tea. Also, hi, Mel, lovely to see you. Welcome on in. Hello, hello, hello. Hope you're having a delightful... What day is it? Monday. I hope you're having a delightful Monday. It's very nice to see you. And it is indeed a delicious mint tea. It's also one of the teas that I enjoy without any additives like milk or sugar. So it's very easy to make, because I don't have to worry about having to, do any extra steps other than pour hot water on tea, wait a minimum of 4 minutes, discard tea leaves, drink. And, I love that for me, especially, once again, when I'm not feeling 100%. So, Anyways, it's return to work day after being sick, says Mel. Oh no, so I think I'm just in a daze. I believe it. That is, ugh. I had that day last week. I did not enjoy it, but I hope that you're feeling better. Coffee and tea are seeing me through. I'm so glad to hear that, at least. But yeah, that is always a very weird day. I always feel like I'm returning to trying to do stuff too soon when I'm sick. Pretty much out of a sense of, I don't know, partially out of a sense of guilt, and if it's a day job situation, also out of a sense of, in previous parts of my life, I'm not going to get paid unless I am working. And additionally, if I spend too many days being sick, I'm going to need to discuss it with my, management, and potentially have the doctor sign off on me having a cold, and it's just like, nope. I will just work while sick. That's better, I missed a full week of work, says Mel. That's really the maximum I can do. Yeah, absolutely. I will say also, having been through the absolute ringer with this illness, is that I don't know about y'all, but I also just kind of reach a point where, even though, I'm supposed to be resting and I'm yada yada yada, I just get bored.
Twitch user Sammy.
Oh, hello.
Choppers.
Hello, Raiders. Welcome on in. Hello, Jam. Hello, friends of Jam. How's it going, everybody? Welcome on in. Hello. Lovely to see y'all. Hope you're having wonderful days, and I hope you had a wonderful rest of your stream, Jam. It's lovely to see you. How was your stream? How are you doing? And hello to Kirsty and Mira and Scalanis. Hello. Silly. Hello. Welcome in. And Jam, of course. How is everybody doing? Lovely to see you. Welcome on in. If you're not familiar with yours truly, hello, my name is Twitch user Sammy Kelch. I'm a variety streamer. I do cozy art streams on Mondays and Thursdays, and I do cozy game streams on Friday mornings. We are currently painting the Snowy Windows prompt for the Streaming January cozy prompt list situation. And I'm just drawing my little ghost barista on a very, very foggy snowy winter's day. Anyways, how was your stream, Jam? It's lovely to see you. Welcome on in. And hello, everybody. Also, shout out to Jam in the chat. If you are not following the delightful James B. Barrow, you can go do that right there, and I highly recommend that you do so because Jam is great. As for me, I am using my these paints, which I hand blended from, I think it ended up being six different watercolors to make this weird set of colors. It's hard to tell what they look like, but I can tell you that the first three colors of both of these cards are the colors that I used to blend, and these are the other colors that I made. There's a lot of bluey, purpley situations. It's weird, and these paints are really fun to work with. I'll talk more about them as I get into actually using them. We've just finished masking fluided, very excitingly. And honestly, I'm impressed with myself that I did some artwork before the stream passed a 1 hour mark, which isn't always the case. And I'm drinking a mint tea, and I'm getting over a cold, and I do apologize for the state of my voice as a result. But hi. Jams, this stream was great fun! Yay! I did some photo studies and art explanation talk. Delightful. I did catch some Jam stream earlier. It was indeed a delight and a wonderful and a very nice situation to hang out in, as always. Once again, if you're not following Mr. James B. Barry, you should get on that because he's great. As for me and my artworks, here's something I made recently that uses the same paints as we're using today. The prompt was shooting stars, so I painted some little guys on a lookout overlooking the city, and I got to use all of my little gold paints, and it was very fun. It's the kind of shenanigans that we get up to here. But today I'm painting my little ghost barista, or Boorista, as we like to say in these parts, because I am a big, massive dork. And I do enjoy a pun. This is me, by the way. I am. Wait, where's my? I'm attempting to put. Where's my hand relative to the camera? Anyways, that over on the left is me. And I'm definitely not wearing pajamas right now. Anywho. But yeah. How's everyone's Mondays going? How are you doing? It's lovely to see you. I hope you had good weekends as well. I hope nobody else has come down with anything, because when I tell you how much it sucks, and 0 out of 10 do not recommend. It's it is not a good time. But yeah, anyways, if you're not familiar with the artwork of Jam, look at this one. It is a very cool looking transformer. I know I've waxed enthusiastically about Jam's artwork a lot, but I really love what he does with like light, especially, and textures and stuff. It's so stinking pretty. Let me get another shout out for Jam in the chat, because I very much appreciate the raid. And it's lovely to have you and your wonderful people here. Anyways, I've completely lost my train of thought. I'm going to fill my paint water, which this is an old film canister, which I have just been refilling with. Oh my god, there's so much like just dried bits of paint on the inside of this, but whatever. That is just the plight of a paint water container, I think. And this is just my water bottle. So delicious, fridge cold tap water. Which is indeed, it's Deadpool water, but listen, it was on sale at Sainsbury's, and I was thirsty. I haven't even seen the newest Deadpool movie, which is to my mild shame. I don't know. I haven't watched a lot of movies in the last few years. I'm just I don't know, it's one of those things where just the effort that it takes to see a movie feels like too much effort, which is probably really sad. Anyways, Jam is doing a lurk. I sadly have to dash, but I shall leave a lurk, says Jam. Thank you so much, Jam. I very much appreciate it, and I hope you had a wonderful stream, and thank you so much for the raid again. I really appreciate it. Jam says, I hope you have a wonderful time with the art. Thank you so much. I shall try my best, and I hope to make something nice that people like. Anyways, for anyone who missed it, the reason that I decided to do this scene in particular, because there's going to be sort of a little pathway that we can see sort of off in the distance through these windows, and this little buddy who's on their way to the coffee shop. It's a very cold, snowy day, as you can see from the snow gathering on the windowsills outside. But I went on a walk on Saturday, and it was so freaking foggy outside. It was so foggy that, like, the draw distance was, I swear, like 10 feet. Like, it's actually, my camera did a better job of seeing things in the distance than my eyes did. And this is what my camera was able to capture of the park. Which is, not a lot. Normally, there's like a load of trees back there. There's some people back there. You can't see any of it. Because the fog was just so intense. Here's another photo of it that I think speaks to the vibe on this day. So that's the vibe that I want to try and recreate in the window of this piece. But I want to do the actual walls of the coffee shop first. Which are kind of a warmish, brownish color, and so for that I will probably do some combination of these two paints to try and arrive at the right hue for that. So we'll see. If it has sort of like a nice mottled bricky appearance, we can maybe add in some like bricky texture and imply perhaps somewhat of an exposed brick wall, which I always think is a fun time. So we might do that as well. Anywho, let's have a look at this. This is one of the paints that I've actually named from this set, which is Blood Moon. I think, beans. Okay, ads are coming up shortly, so I'm gonna BRB in a few minutes. Super quick BRB. Yeah, you shan't miss anything. You'll just have either the BRB screen and some gentle music, or a couple of ads, which are a necessary evil, and I can't make them not happen. But in the meantime, I can at least try and formulate some wall colors for us. I think this is already quite a nice, like, brick red, this Blood Moon color. So I'm gonna make a bit of this as well. I kind of want it to feel, I mean, I think that, like, the lights are on in the cafe, so it's not going to be, like, terrifically backlit, but there is quite, I think, sort of that bright, like, diffusely bright winter light coming in from and I just flicked a bunch of paint onto my canvas, which I can very easily get rid of, but is a mild annoyance. Namely just there. Okay. Let's just pick that up. Plap. The rest of it doesn't matter. So, that'll do. Anyways. Monk says, watch, by the time the ads are over, the painting will be finished. No! No, are you kidding? Listen, I take the ad break as an opportunity to take a break. I will be standing up and doing a stretch, having a big sip of my beverage, doing all that stuff. Because this little streamer needs breaks too. Alright? So don't let's suggest any such things. I will very much be also taking a break. But in the meantime, before I do, I just want to have some little colors ready to try and meld together into a nice bricky tone. I think the slightly deeper brown I'm kind of leaning towards for this, just because it is I think I want it to be slightly backlit and feel a little bit darker than outside, even though the lights are on. Because I think that will give a little bit more kind of interesting dimension to the piece. But I'm gonna have a little thinky about that while we're away for our little breaky do. In the meantime, I have the BRB screen for you to enjoy, and some gentle music, and I will be back very, very shortly. Apologies if you do get ads. I can't cancel them. So have a nice BRB. Is the BRB music on? It's not. Okay, let me fade that in gently for you then. And I will be right back. Hello, I'm back. Thank you for waiting. Much appreciated. It's lovely to be back. Hi. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Yay. Tell us hello. Welcome in. How are you doing? It is wonderful to see you. Welcome, welcome. Hi, hi, hi. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday. How are you doing? Monks, is anyone getting any fun ads? I got one where McDonald's encourages distracted driving. Oh boy, Mackie D's, what are you doing? That's inappropriate and a bad decision. Dan says, is that the same BRB music as usual? I think so. It should be. Was it some gentle piano music from Epidemic Sound? Because it should be. Unless it's decided to up and change itself, and I don't know. I guess I'll have to check the VOD, because I can't actually hear any of the music that happens on stream, because I don't have headphones on, so, you know, I'm just kind of guessing that everything is working as intended. I just hear the nice ambient sounds of my studio. Dan says, your BRB music usually makes me sad, that's all, and this time it didn't. Well, I'm glad that you're not sad. I don't want anyone to feel sad. Oh no, should I used to have different, more upbeat BRB music, and I think people found it weird, so I decided to change to some, like, gentle, sort of contemplative piano music instead. I thought it was just the usual tune, says Talis. Well, hopefully Dan's just in a pleasant mood, I hope. Anyways. I'm glad to hear that it's working as it should. Maybe that's what's left of my soul has finally died. Hooray, Dan, no! Oh, beans. Anyways, I mean, also, relate, I was feeling a little bit down in the dumps earlier today about this, that, and the other, mostly to do with art and just how, I don't know, sort of bleak things feel in terms of, like, the future of making stuff and being a person that do creative things these days. I try really hard not to, like, let myself kind of fixate on it, I guess, because I think that way lies madness, but it is a struggle. I feel like we're very much in an era where it's really not easy to establish a career in a creative field without, you know, coming from some measure of generational wealth. The number of people, anytime you hear about, like, a new person in sort of, like, TV and film and that kind of thing, and you look and you're like, oh, isn't that interesting? Their parents' names have hyperlinks in Wikipedia. You know, it just feels a little bit disheartening. And certainly, like, I have no desire to be enough of an established person that I have, like, a Wikipedia entry anyways. But even just making little stickers and selling them on the internet for, you know, sort of just enough interested persons that you're able to actually sustain that without actively losing what little money you have, just feels real hard. And I know I'm feeling that struggly feel. And I think a lot of people are feeling that struggly feel. And it feels like every couple of months something new appears to just kind of throw an extra spanner in the works. Like, I'm kind of stepping back from using Instagram as much now. I'm really not using Twitter very much anymore at all. And that's tough as a creator. Shutting off various, like, avenues for finding an audience is a really, really hard decision to make. And personally, I don't enjoy doing it. But also there are some spaces where I'm just like, you know, they make, like, policy changes that just make it really hard to, like, want to hang out there and share things there, either about yourself or your artwork or whatever. Whatever those reasons may be, whether they're, like, moderation reasons that feel icky or make you feel unsafe, or reasons of like, hey, my data doesn't feel safe here. My art doesn't feel safe from like plagiarism robots here. All that stuff. Um, it's a hard time to maintain a positive attitude as an artist, and I've kind of succumbed to that a little bit earlier today. And the best way I can work through any of my feelings generally are to art. So I'm just gonna keep arting, and I feel like that's the best thing I can do. Um, excuse me. Anyways, Monk says I find it more pensive than sad. Yeah, I think pensive is a good word for that piece of music. I agree. I think pensive is a good piece of music. If you are hearing the music that you're supposed to have been hearing, it's called The Rose and the Thorn. It's by Johannes Bornlöf, and it is from Epidemic Sound. If you are watching this as a VOD on YouTube after the live broadcast, you will not have heard that because my second YouTube channel does not have a license to play Epidemic music. Only my main channel does, and I don't want to get copyright struck for something that I am allowed to use on Twitch. So, sorry about that. But, the VODs, if you're watching this as a VOD on Twitch, you get the music. So, yay, love that for you. Okay, that's, ooh, I think that turned out real pretty. Also, hi, Aoife, welcome in. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you. Welcome on in. Hello, hello. I think this is a nice sort of bricky color situation. I'm enjoying this. I'm gonna plap some more paint on here, because why not? But we're also getting some nice granulation happening. I'm realizing in hindsight that since I did quite a wet wash of this, it's gonna be a few minutes before I can safely paint anything else on it. Oh no, did I make a mistake? Hopefully no. But well, here we are if I did. Never mind. But yeah, because these paints are a combination of I think it was ultramarine, a cadmium red maybe, and viridian green. It's giving some nice granulation happening. I'm seeing bits of the green popping out among the red, bits of the blue. And it's all kind of melding together into a nice combination of browns, which is very, 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 very fun. So I'm liking the way that these colors are looking together. I think we did good to combine the blood moon with the darker sort of brownish grayish splodge, as it were. I think this is going to make a nice backdrop. I'm happy with it anyways. Ooh, Aoife had first day at work. Wall of text incoming. Please tell me more. I would love to hear all about it. For anyone who doesn't know, Aoife just started a new gig, and it sounds really exciting and cool. So I can't wait to... Oh, here we go. Okay, so what... Hello? Okay, Aoife says, so I got wine, weed, hot soup, just came out of the shower, all is good. Sounds delightful. I thought you meant that you went to, like, your first day at work and you got there and they handed you, like, a glass of wine and, like, a couple of gummies and a bowl of soup and were like, okay, let's get started. I realize now you mean this is your end of the day wind down and meal. But for a second I was like, well, this is an interesting workplace. I cannot imagine going to, like, you know, sort of an archaeological dig for my first day of work, and they're just like, here, have some edibles. Have a glass of Shiraz. Anyways. Who would have thunk, says Aoife, digging wet earth for 8 hours while it's windy and snowing would be hard. Oh my goodness, that sounds harrowing. It really does. Brisk, bracing even. But the people seem nice. There's no stress. Everybody understands that it's hard and I'm not used to it. And I found three bones and 5 pottery shards on your first day, no less. Congratulations. That is so stinking cool. Sometimes I hear about other people's cool jobs and I'm like, damn, am I in the wrong line of work? And the answer is no, but also that sounds really, really cool. But I'm sure my back will be killing me tomorrow. Yeah. be sure to do some restorative yoga before you go to bed. And remember, if something hurts, it's okay to take a painkiller. Anyways, that sounds awesome. I'm so glad that you had a good time. There was a bottle of cheap wine on the table, so it looked like it's not out of the possibilities, says Eva. Oh my goodness. I don't think I would want to be drinking wine whilst doing an archaeological dig. I feel like the likelihood of my already questionable motor skills being compromised when I'm handling, you know, like extremely rare pieces of like old bones and pottery and stuff feels like a bad idea. You know, it's like, oops, I broke it. I mean, you know, well, I mean, a lot of the pottery is like pre-broken by the time you find it, but still, I don't want to break it even more, you know? Anyways, Dan says, well, and I quote, "Welcome, new colleague. Here's your wine, here's your joint, here's your cubicle." Oh, I don't think I would want to work in a place like that. Because I think if they're telling me, "Hey, congratulations on your new job. You will need wine to cope." I'm not gonna do well. But so unprofessional, says Aoife. No fedoras or whips anywhere on the whole dig site. Now that's what they're really missing a trick with. Cause, I mean, what are they gonna do if, like, you know, they if they accidentally activate like a trap and a giant boulder comes rolling at them? You're gonna want to be able to whip away from that and look dapper while you're doing it. Anyways, Aoife goes on to say, one of my coworkers apparently once got into 7th place in female weightlifting in Europe. Wow, that's heckin' cool. That's amazing. Aoife says, I used to work as a mail carrier for a time, and those people drank a lot even though they were dry. Oh no. Oh no, some of them. Oh no. Oh no, that's danger. No. We do not condone that behavior in this stream. We like safety and keeping you safe. Also, I am side-eyeing, someone mentioned earlier that they had an ad during the BRB, in which, what was it? An endorsement from McDonald's of distracted driving, which feels bad also. Like, no, Mackie D's, don't you do that. You should be paying attention while you drive, and preferably very sober. Anyways, if there's a trap, then they push the new starter in front of it. Aoife, be warned. Dan, no! I'm sure they're all very nice people and will be very kind. And not do that. Sounds like a good first day, says Tals. Hopefully the team fedoras are on the way. Hell yeah, you should all get matching cool people hats. Would love that for you. Oh no, Aoife says, oh my lord, I didn't even think of traps and boulders. Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, listen, I'm sure those are more rare than, like, Harrison Ford makes it out to be. I'm sure you'll be fine. Like, don't sweat it. Don't even worry about it. I feel like I've made a huge mistake because now I can't paint this. because I'm waiting for the paint to dry. Oh no. But I guess while we're waiting for that, please appreciate that this paint is granulating really cool. There's just like a pocket of like ultramarine up here that I'm really digging, and then there's this sort of area over here where you can see a little bit of the green poking out and a little bit more of the blue over here. It's just, I love how these colors work. So, okay, I guess while we're waiting for this to dry, I can just tell you about these colors because there's probably quite a few people here who weren't here for the moon glow attempts stream. So I started with a base of this color, quinacridone violet, French ultramarine, and viridian. Trying to arrive at a color that was similar to a paint called Moon Glow, which is a really lovely sort of grayish purple hue that's made up of 3 similar colors to this, but the red that they use isn't Lightfast. I came to the conclusion after doing these 4 that actually this color was too cool of a red, and that I should use a warmer red for it. So I did the same, I tried doing the same experiment, but with cadmium red, cobalt blue, and helio green, which is a different set of similar family of colors, but different temperatures and also different intensities of pigmentation. So, for instance, let's see, can I do a comparison? No, because I used very different combos for all of these. But like this one was 1-to-1-to-1 all of these three colors, and it came out much brighter than I was expecting. And specifically, I found with this set of colors, it was very difficult to get the green to show up. But I knew with this set of colors that the green is like the most intense of all of them. So I had to work really hard to get the green to kind of work in the background. And I ended up with all of these different, like I wrote down all of the different ratios of quantities and stuff of the different paints and colors. And my favorite one, the closest one I felt to the original, ended up being this one, where I just kind of mixed all 6 paints together and called it a day. And didn't really measure it out. Oh no, I'm so sorry. One moment, please, everybody. Oh no. Oh no, where's my microphone? And on that note, Taos, thank you very much for the hydrate. I'm going to take a big sip of my mint tea, and I'm going to take a big sip of my water. Because, yeah, for anyone who wasn't aware, I'm still getting over a cold. And you can really tell that I'm so sorry. That's better. Anyways. I'm trying to stay as hydrated as I can, but boy howdy, hydration is hard work, isn't it? But never mind. This paint is taking so long to dry. I wish I had... The thing is, I was thinking the other day, you know, seeing a lot of other artists will use something like a hair dryer or similar to get their watercolors to dry down faster. I don't want to do that on stream, though, because the problem with that, of course, is that I then end up in a situation where I'm making lots of very unpleasant noise on the stream that I don't particularly want to. So, you know, would rather avoid that if at all possible. But, also sometimes, damn, these things take too long to dry. I don't really have any backups planned for today's stream. So, we could do a little bit of sketching potentially. There is something that I did want to work on / finish relatively soon. I feel like the paint is kind of pooling in this area and it's looking a little bit funky. So I'm trying to just kind of A, shuffle it around, and B, pick some of it up. It's not being super cooperative. I think it'll look, to be honest, I think it'll look fine when it's dry, but it looks a little bit janky right now that it's wet, if that makes sense. But I think once it's dry, it'll look fine, and I'll be adding some like more refined surface details on top as well. But I feel like this area over here is basically bone dry, so I might at least be able to pick up this masking fluid, and then we can come back and kind of look at these areas over here. afterwards. I will clean down my brush while I'm doing that. And we can look at doing the little window frames and the little books in the windowsill, this little plant in the windowsill, the things outside in the snow. Hopefully this will be cute. It's one of those things where I always go into paintings hoping that they'll be cute, and sometimes it's harder to tell than others how a thing is going to actually turn out when it's done. Hey Eddie, welcome in. Thank you so much for coming in on the raid. It's lovely to see you. Welcome on in. How are you doing, my friend? Hello. Hope you're having a good one. We're just doing a snowy little day. I'm definitely not at least a little bit jealous of everyone who's had snow recently, because I think I saw a tiny amount of snow. We had brief snow one day when I was so sick that I couldn't even get up to look out the window to see snow. My moderator / spouse reported to me that there's snow outside, and I was like, yay! And then I stayed in bed because I just felt like absolute garbo, which is so sad. But here we are. Yeah, that was the kind of snow where, like, you wake up in the morning and nominally there's snow outside, but it's mostly like some little patches of grass have like a small amount of snow on them, and there's a little bit of snow sitting on rooftops, but like for the most part, like, the roads are clear, you know, the driveways are clear, the houses are clear, most of the plant life is clear, and by about 10 a.m. it's all gone. So, you know, I didn't miss much at least, but, oh well. Eddie says, great to see you too. Happy time zone. Happy time zone to you too. And thank you for stopping in. I do apologize for all the coughing. I'm trying to keep it in check, but, you know, that's just the kind of day that it's being. Anyways, I am, boop. Oh no, I got a little, I jumped the gun a little bit because there's a slight damp patch of paint up here, and I got a little bit of a plop of, oh, sorry for the shaky cam, got a little bit of a plop of color onto here, just a little smidge, but thankfully smudges can be fairly easily lifted most of the time, especially with this paint. These paints, if you just pick them up while they're still quite fresh, you can lift them out a bit, which is great for me. For when things like this happen, I can just give it a little moisten down, and then a little blot, and you're good. Nice and easy. Love that. Anywho, which means we should really be a little bit more careful with the rest of these. So I will refrain from, for crying out loud. No, this happens every ding dang stream. You know that? Okay. One moment, please, chat. Let me take care of that. Bear with while we fix this. I don't know why my camera app just decides that it doesn't want to work. At least once per stream, it seems. But at least also it's fairly fixable. So if I just relaunch it, hopefully it will reconnect. Come on. It's thinking, initializing. Yeah! Okay, hopefully we're back. Let me just check and make sure that, so I can see it in the camera program, but can I see it here? Yay! Okay, we're back. Wonderful. So sorry for the interruption of service there, for a wee moment. Very, very not cool of it, but, you know, here we are. I'm a little concerned that the way that this wet patch is drying is going to create sort of a weird little water line. So I'm trying to just blend it out a smidgen so that it doesn't do that so much. Like so. Watercolor is a quirky little medium. I love it with my entire heart. It's one of my favorite things to do. But it does definitely have some quirks. And sometimes it's just a matter of knowing how to play with them. And he says, what is a Twitch stream without technical difficulties? Exactly. That's how you know it's live. You know, the way I see it, that's how you know. That's how you know that this is live entertainment. This has not been pre-recorded. Unless you're watching, like, a VOD of this. This did go out as a live broadcast in this case. Also, hi! Welcome to my channel. Like and subscribe. I also have a main channel where I make videos that I edit. I'm working on one at the moment. It's been delayed by me being sick for, like, a while. But it'll be up soon. Here's a link to my channel, by the way, if you want to subscribe. We don't have a lot of subscribers yet, but, you know, I'm having fun with it. I just wish I had I wish I had the time and ability to make more than, like, a couple videos a year. Because I feel like, you know, it's hard. It's hard to get people to subscribe to your channel when you don't put out that many videos and you're not already one of those, like, one of those people who just pops up once or twice a year with, like, a 4-hour video essay and then disappears into, I don't know, probably their Patreon again. I wish I could be one of those people, but unfortunately, it's one of those situations where I can't afford to. Because unfortunately, because I don't have, you know, the subscriber base to be monetized on YouTube, I cannot, I can't quit, you know, sort of my day job, and because I have to have a day job, I'm not able to devote as much time as I would like to making the kinds of, other things, videos, artwork, that kind of thing that I would like to be doing on a more dedicated basis. It is very frustrating. I don't know how one kind of breaks out of that. It sucks. 0 out of 10 do not recommend. Sparkling Hallam, hello. Welcome in. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. Oh my goodness, I feel that so hard. Also, hello everyone. Hello, hello. So good to see you. Welcome on in. Hello. Oh, jeez. Well, dropped my paintbrush. I put it down in what I thought it was a secure location, and it just immediately rolled right off my desk. So thank you for that little paintbrush. That's great. Anywho, I do hope that you are well, Sparkling. I hope that you are having a beautiful Monday. I hope everything is delightful in your neck of the woods. It's very nice to see you, and welcome on in. I am selectively and very carefully peeling the masking fluid off of this painting because I really would like to work on the sort of the window frames and the stuff happening in the background. And in order to do that, I need the masking fluid to not be present. But I don't want to get a bunch of smudges all over the bits that I haven't painted in yet, which is kind of difficult if the paint surrounding it is still damp. But I think this section is nice and dry, so I can do this section. I'm just going to leave this bit up here because that is like the wettest patch of the painting at the moment. But I love the way that the sort of wall background colors turned out. Look at just the separation of these pigments. For anyone who doesn't know, who isn't like conversant in the ways of watercolor pigments, basically different pigments will have different sizes of the little bits in them and different weights to them. And so when you combine different pigments, sometimes the ones that are known as granulating pigments, which are the ones that if you put them down on sort of like as a wet wash on your painting, will give you this kind of mottled texture that we've got going here instead of like a nice smooth, instead of just like a smooth field of uninterrupted color. When you combine pigments, say one that does granulate in this way with one that doesn't granulate in this way, or two pigments that do granulate, mixing them together will give you this really interesting effect when you go to paint with them that gives you a more dimensional appearance to that wash of color, because if you look real closely, you can see that the color is comprised of more than one pigment that has been kind of mixed together to get that effect. For instance, here, these colors are a combination of this red, this blue, and this green in varying amounts to create this kind of brownish, bricky brown color that we're using here. It's a lot of fun. It's something that I've been playing with for the last couple of years, and I've started putting together my own palettes of color mixes using these kinds of paints. In some cases, I like doing sort of like a unified color palette where I take, sort of a set of your basic rainbow colors as best as I can match them to, like paint pigments that exist that meet the sort of criteria that I'm looking for. And then I pick a single like anchor color to add in equal amounts to each paint to create a palette that feels like all the colors are kind of meant to go together. It instantly kind of makes your painting, I think, more cohesive. It makes the colors feel a little bit more unified. It can kind of give the effect of, gee, if I were a digital artist, I could just put a filter, I could just paint in straight ahead colors and then just put a filter on top of it of the color I kind of want everything to be shifted towards. But I can't do that as a painter of traditional arts, so I have to do everything the hard way. And sometimes I really wish I could do it the other way. Of just, I decided that I wanted everything to lean a little bit more yellow, so I just put a nice sort of yellow ochre-y layer on top of everything. So jealous. So jealous. I mean, there are other ways of doing that as well, like a sort of underpainting, or just doing a pass on top of everything of whatever you want that color to be. That feels a lot riskier to me, though, than just mixing a set of colors together. And I've done this a few times with varying results. But this set of paints was actually just a series of experiments. That I've decided that, since I was trying to do kind of the same thing with all of these paints, that they kind of all go together. And so that's how I've been using them. I used the same set of paints to do the painting that I finished last week. And also, they were the paints that I used to create... Where are they? Here they are. This little buddy. Who was my Christmas VTuber. Because I decided, I don't know, I just want to be a weird little wintertime forest creature. Hello. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to being regular old me, because it's just a regular me kind of day, I feel like. But yeah. They're so cute, so sparkling. Oh, thank you. Thank you. It was a fun VTuber to be. But most of the time I'm just me. And I look like this. I mean, technically I am in pajamas today, but shh. Though that being said, my pajamas are very cute. They've got little doggies on them. Look at little doggies. Hello, little doggies. And some of the doggies are wearing little outfits, which is very cute as well. I love these pajam-jams. They're very precious. Anyways, right. I am inching ever closer towards the bit where the paint is still damp, and at that point I should probably stop. You know what? I'm going to stop now. I'm going to stop there. Because I am noticing some smudges happening. And as much as, I can work around the smudges, it's no big. It really is no big. I do also If you peel masking fluid and the paper is too damp in the vicinity, you do run the risk of it tearing, and I would really rather it didn't tear. So we're gonna stop the peelies right here for the moment. Apart from this little bit over here that just really doesn't want to come up. Okay. And I'm gonna look at painting in these little doodads in the foreground here, maybe, if I can, or maybe just doing the little window framies. I could paint in the little window framies, or I could actually start painting the our little Boorista, who, for the most part, isn't exceptionally colored in here, but because they're ghost colored, but I feel like to give the piece a little bit of dimension, I was going to apply a little bit of shading to them, and hope that goes okay. And obviously they are also wearing this little apron, which I'm going to have to go back to one of my own old paintings and cross-reference to see what color the apron was, because I don't remember. Oh no. What color was it? Heck. I'm going to have to scroll down a bit of a ways to find it here. Because I did do a painting of the Boorista for streaming, but which is a prompt list challenge doodad from October. Okay, so in this painting, it's kind of this like indigo purple color. So I think I'm gonna go with sort of the indigoist color that I have from this collection, which is probably this one. I think it's probably that one, so we'll probably do that one and see how it looks in that color. Yes, anywho. Right. I should to be honest, I should probably do all of like the snowy things in the background before I do like the window frames and the things in the foreground. Just because I feel like that's the safest order in which to do things. Ah, geez. Ah, cheese pizza. Okay. Okay, anyways. How's the weather where you're at? I hope that it is pleasant, whatever it happens to be. It's just, honestly, here it's just cold. It's above freezing now, which is nice. But there's nothing particularly interesting to speak of about it. It's just, I find where we live anyways, I find a lot of the time the winter is kind of just like no weather season. Like sometimes we'll get rain, then sometimes we just get, I don't know, bupkis for long periods of time. And that kind of feels like what we're having at the moment is just like no weather. I confess I was a little bit sad when the Silent Hill weather went away, because that was just fun. The Silent Hill weather, probably less so if I'd been driving in it, but since I wasn't, it was fine. Heck. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do is see if I can, is this dry enough now? It's still slightly damp. I don't want to mess with it if it's still slightly damp. But also, I really feel like I should probably be doing the sort of stuff out the window first, and then do the things kind of surrounding it. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna see if I can, this masking fluid is not wanting to peel, which is slightly annoying, but oh well. Monk says Toronto is weird. Like, yes, there is snow, but significantly less than most of Ontario, I find. Yeah, I think that's generally the case in big cities tend to run a little bit hotter than surrounding areas, and I think it's just probably a combination of like the amount of the concentration of people and the concentration of like energy being put out into the air that kind of brings the temperature up a smidge. There's more reflective surfaces for like the sun to bounce off of as well. Which is probably why you see less snow in like large sort of densely packed urban areas. If I had to guess, I am not a meteorological expert by any stretch, so, you know, take anything that I think about these things with a massive grain of salt, because I know very much not of whence I am speaking here. I am just talking potentially nonsense. So, I don't know, ignore me. Maybe I should just shut up. No, I'm not going to shut up. It's my stream. But yeah. Certainly, that's my limited experience of Toronto in the wintertime has been, I don't know, I've been very lucky. Every time I've been to Toronto in the winter, it's usually not been heavily snowing. Though I haven't been to I didn't live in Toronto, but I lived sort of like an hour and a bit away. And we definitely got snow where I lived. But I was living in a city of about 100,000 people at the time, so not nearly the size of Toronto, which is a fair few million. Monk says, I do prefer my snow with a measure of salt, usually so I don't slip, though. Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. I always used to get really frustrated that where I did live back in Canada, I lived on a very small side street of my neighborhood, which meant that generally we were one of the last places to get, you know, someone like the big truck that comes round and throws grit onto the roads so that they're not icy, and like the little snow sweeper that like cleans the snow off of the sidewalks so that you can not have to walk through huge banks of snow. I remember one time having to walk to the bus stop when there'd been a huge snowfall and my like streets sidewalks hadn't been plowed or anything. So I ended up, because it's such a like minimally trafficked street, I ended up just walking in one of the furrows that a car's tires had kind of carved out. But then a car did come up, you know, sort of, and I had to kind of move out of the way of it. And they shouted at me, like, get off the road. And I'm like, the snowbanks are as tall as I am, my friend. Where the hell do you think I'm supposed to go? Oh my god. Anyways. But don't get me started on motorists in that bit of the city, because they were, the entitlement of car people. I was just reminded the other day of one of the features of my area, of my hometown, typical North American, says Monk, 100%. It's like, mate, there is nowhere else for me to walk. I am taking the only path that is remotely safe here. Come on. Anyways, Samantha, welcome in. Hello. It's lovely to see you. Welcome. Samantha says, oh my, is that famous internet personality Twitch user Sammy Kelch? I mean, some of those words apply. I have a personality, and that is my username. Hello, Samantha. It's lovely to see you. Welcome on in. I was just about to tell everyone about the time when I was, so I was still living in Canada at this point. And basically, my neighborhood, so my little tiny little side street opened out onto what was a fairly quiet residential street when we first moved there. But then after a few years they did a whole bunch of construction and actually like connected the road up to some main roads further north, because it was like a north-south road. So it became a much more heavily trafficked road because of that, because it was sort of an easy way through, sort of heading north or south through the end of the city that I was living in at the time. And one of the things that happened as a result of this was that this road was an intersection, became an intersection with a road that traveled east-west. And the road that traveled east-west, because we were right on sort of like the very western edge of the city, where the city becomes countryside, basically, after, like, our street, effectively, or maybe, like, one block beyond that. There was this intersection here where on the one corner, on this corner, is the big supermarket in the neighborhood. And it was like a 5-10 minute walk from my house, so I went there a lot. Anyways, this intersection was the worst place because it was in an intersection of two fairly heavily trafficked streets, including one that is your gateway from the city into the country and vice versa, which meant that once you pass this intersection as a motorist, you go from, this is like a 20 zone residential to you can just go 1,000,000 kilometers an hour now because you're out in the country and we don't give a fluff, right? Which meant that, like, trying to cross this road, even when you had a walk signal, was taking your gosh dang life in your hands because motorists were so impatient. They just want to speed up and get out of there, right? So there was this one time where I was walking down the street. I come up to the crosswalk. So here's me, and then across the sort of big busy east-west road is the supermarket, which is on this corner over here. So I'm waiting for the light. I get the green light to go. I start going, and this car that wanted to make a turn has to pause to wait for me to cross whilst I have right of way. And the man in the car yells out his window at me, "Look where you're going!" I did, sir. I looked, and I saw that I had the pedestrian signal to cross had switched on. Therefore, I began to cross, seeing that no one was actively breaking the law in their car in my vicinity. You, sir, should be looking at the fact that I currently have right of way, and what's more, I'm vulnerable here, and what's more, if you have to wait the 10 seconds it takes for that to turn red again so you can do your stupid little turn, you're not going to get where you're going any later. Can you believe to learn the absolute impatience of this person? What? It's been a solid 15 years since this happened, and I'm still just flabbergasted at what the hell this man was on about. It's like, yes, I did look where I'm going. I'm going across the street. Across the street that has just been signaled to me that it is safe for me to do. What are you doing? Anyways, Tell says, some people, I wholeheartedly agree. Anyway, so there's my story. There's my rant. What a ding-dong. I hated crossing that street because it genuinely didn't feel safe sometimes. I love that supermarket. I do miss that supermarket. It is a wonderful supermarket and I love it there. But there are some things I really don't miss about being back home. I really don't. Anyways. Now then. That was a good sip of tea. Okay. I guess I need to think about what I'm painting into this little backgroundy, wintry scene. First thing, I want to make sure that my brush is really, really nice and clean. Because we are creating a wintry fog out there. So I want everything to be colored in fairly, very light dusting of color over everything, to begin with. So I'm going to, whatever color I end up choosing, I'm going to be shearing that way out before it touches the paper. Because it's going to need to be very, very light, very pale, very ghostly. A very ghostly appearance for this background. I might even go so far as to change my paint water before we do that. I'm very serious about this being the right color. Um, so I might even go so far as to change my paint water before we do that. But also begging the question of what color do I want to use? Um, so I'm thinking it would want to be one of these or this one. Sorry, that I should probably have that on camera so you can see one of these or this one. This one's too violet, I think. This one might be a little too green. Um, I think. Oh, sorry. Oh, that that caught me just off guard enough that I couldn't mute. I'm so sorry. Oh, excuse me. Anyways, oh, got a question from Dan who wants to know what's for dinner tonight. Um, I am hungry and excited for food. What are you having for dinner, Dan? Indeed, what is for dinner, everybody? I'm having some veggie dogs. I'm having tofu-ers. I am not having. I did not get buns for the tofu-ers for me. My moderator slash spouse is gonna have them in bread, as is the traditional way of when you want to have a hot dog at home, and all you have is sliced bread. Very classic, very delicious. Love that for him. I have recently developed a sensitivity to wheat, so I am just going to have them with some ketchup to dip on the side. And that's it. That's my dinner. You know, listen, like, is it gourmet? Is it effortful? No. Have I been sick for like several weeks and I just don't have it in me to cook anything too complicated right now? Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Anyways, I've just eaten a big bowl of rice, says Casa. Ooh, that sounds so good. I was thinking lately about beans and rice, and I haven't done beans and rice in a really long time, and I really want to do beans and rice soon. So, beans and rice, watch this space. I will be having beans and rice. Maybe I'll even post a picture of it in the Discord. Here's a link to the Discord if you're not in the Discord, if you want it and you want to join. Anywho, let me catch up with chat. Thank you for the blesses, everyone. I do appreciate it. I am so sorry that I sneezed on mic. I don't know, but I have options, says Dan. Ooh, if it's cold out, I recommend soup. That's always a good choice. Or like something with like melted cheese on it, also very cozy. Or maybe even some toast and jam if you don't have a sensitive to wheat. Anyways, Monk says there's a guy from Canada that moved to the Netherlands who made a YouTube channel about urban planning called Not Just Bikes. Oh, I've heard of that channel. I don't know if I've seen anything from Not Just Bikes, but I've heard of them. That would explain why the channel is called Not Just Bikes. Because Netherlands, it's very I think Amsterdam especially is quite a bicycle-y city, isn't it? Although his videos can be a bit repetitive, I really appreciate how much he hates North American car infrastructure. Ooh, I should be watching this channel. A channel that I do watch that's largely about like public transit and stuff has just announced that he is scaling back his YouTube output to do other stuff, and I'm really sad because he's a Canadian boy who I believe lives in Canada but recently had a baby, and wants to work on other things, which is fair enough. But also, who else is gonna make like delightfully informational videos about like the TTC and stuff? I don't know. Anyways, anywho. Ooh, Smiths, I think Not Just Bikes guessing on a Philosophy Tube video. Ooh, I might have seen that one actually in that case. Maybe that's why I know Not Just Bikes, because I've definitely seen some videos from Philosophy Tube as well. She is great. Dances inbred the traditionally British way. Wait, no! No! Absolutely not. Gross. Anyways. Beans and rice reminds me of Cuba. Ah, oh, Cuban food, lovely, where everything had black beans and rice. Fancy that too now. Oh, sounds so good. There was, speaking of Toronto, there used to be a Cuban restaurant that you could just get like a thing of Cuban style donuts and coffee. The donuts came in a little paper bag that just had the word donuts stamped on it, and the coffee was small and strong and sweet and so good. And I remember going there on this incredibly rainy day and just being like, yeah, can I just get donuts and coffee? It was like, I don't know, maybe 2 p.m, and the guy was like, And I'd finished my food, I'd settled my bill, and the guy looked outside, was absolutely tipping it down. There was no way I could go out there and, like, walk anywhere. He was just like, you know, you could just hang out here as long as you want. And I'm like, thank you so much. And I just hung around for, like, an extra hour and just sipped a glass of water and read until the rain let up. Anyways, welcome back, Sammy Ann. Welcome. It's lovely to see you. Thank you for the unlurk. Sammy Ann says, I've never done the return and now I have the song stuck in my head. I am so sorry. But, I mean, I am right in saying, everybody, rock your body right. Sammy Ann Art is back. All right. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I made that my unlurk command. But also, I don't know. That song was a banger. So, can you blame me? I hope not. Anywhoosins. My tea is getting super low, so I think I might actually go quickly fix myself a Speedy Builders. So I'm going to drop a super quick BRB if that's okay, because I need beverages right now. I need beverages super bad. And then we'll try and get a little bit more of this painting done. So please enjoy the BRB screen in the meantime. I'll be back very shortly. You won't miss anything. You might get to hear some pleasant music. Yeah, Sammy Ann says, once upon a time, tween Backstreet Boys fan. I appreciate it. Oh, that's adorable. Monk says, there's a bakery my sister-in-law brings me croissants from that you have to make your order on Facebook Messenger beforehand. It's literally just some guy's house. Best croissant I've ever had. Oh man, I am too socially anxious to order that, but I get it. I see the appeal. Oh man. Anyways, I'll be back very shortly. BRB! Enjoy the BRB song. Is it playing? Yes, it is. Okay, BRB. Hey all, hi, hello, I'm back. Hello. Thank you for your patience. It's lovely to be back. I have anecdotes to share about Toronto, no less. Just the chatter about the Monk talking about the bakery where you have to order on Facebook Messenger reminded me of this place that I went to once in Toronto with my moderator / spouse many years ago now. Quite a few years. Maybe 3 years. I don't know. Anyway, some years ago, my moderator / spouse and I went to, as is often the case with me, when I travel, I try and, like, center my itineraries around knowing that I'm going to be able to get a really high quality snack, or like a really good cup of coffee, that kind of thing. So I kind of try and send us through interesting areas and to cool places via there's a bakery here that I hear is really good, or like this place does really good coffee, that kind of thing. So I know that we're going to be able to take breaks, have somewhere to like sit down for 30 minutes and have a drink or go to the bathroom, that kind of thing. But also, you know, I'm interested to see what's the local coffee scene like in the place that I'm visiting. What's something that's special to here that I'm not going to be able to get anywhere else, kind of thing. And there was this donut place that had come quite highly recommended from a number of sort of, you know, food writers that I'd read. So we ended up trying to go to this donut place, and I say trying to go to. We did go to the physical location of this donut place. It was a fairly unassuming sort of little square of a building, in sort of a block that didn't really hit, that was I think surrounding it was largely like residential and maybe a couple of offices, but it wasn't like, you know, a big sort of like high street type commercial strip or anything like that. It was very much sort of plonked in the middle of what felt like a weird location. You know, it's still in the middle of the city, but it's just one of those places where it's just like, this is a weird place specifically for this to be, but okay, whatever. Samantha says, remember the plural of anecdote is data. I'm pretty sure that's what I was taught in stats class. I've never taken a stats class in my life. Statistics is a mystery to me, so I'll take your word for it. But this place, which, again, like, I had heard that the donuts were really good, and that, you know, they do, like, interesting sort of, like, daily flavors, and they're fresh, and whatever. I get there, and it was the most baffling, like, terrifying place my partner and I had ever been inside. There was no, like, menu or list of what was on offer that we could see. I was expecting, you know, sort of like a bakery case or a counter where it felt like I could go up and order or something. And there was a counter, but they were just, like, there was really loud music playing and, like, a number of people behind the counter just sort of dooting around, and no one seemed to notice that we'd walked in, but there was also just, like, a number of people just sort of standing to one side and queuing, but they weren't, like, queuing up for the counter, so I'm like, are they just waiting for donuts? What's happening? And I didn't know how to order, and I didn't know what to order, and I didn't know whether or not I needed to, like, I needed to have pre-ordered my donuts from, like, their website and then come to the shop. It was all very unclear and deeply confusing, so we just left. Because I didn't enjoy that. It was super weird, and it felt very made for people who were, like, 10 to 15 years younger than me, who probably somehow instinctively understand these things in a way that I don't, but I just walked in, saw a whole bunch of people standing, and no menu, and felt like I did not belong there. So I just left. And we got donuts from somewhere else later on instead, and that place was nice. And had all of the donuts they had that day with their flavors, and they were, like, labeled and stuff, and I could ask for the donuts that we wanted, and the lady was like, sure, and gave us a box with 2 donuts in it. And that place was really cute, because it was basically, it looked like it was out of the front of what used to be / probably was still partially a house in, like, just off of the neighborhood. And the donuts were really good. So yeah, it ended up working out because we got really good donuts from a place that didn't scare me. So yay! We also got coffees while we were in the neighborhood. And the coffee shop that we went to was one of those places where you can tell, like, everyone else in this coffee shop has been coming to this coffee shop for the last, like, 50 years. Because it was just, like, several groups of, you know, sort of retirement age folks sitting around and having a really good chit chat about this, that, and the other, engaged in very conversational type conversation over their, like, coffees and muffins and what have you, and I was just like, I love it here. That do I feel like I belong in this coffee shop? No, but in a way that is way nicer than the donut shop that I went to. It wasn't one of those places where you walk in and everyone stares at you like you're from another planet. Anyways, it sounds so unpleasant, says Monk. It was deeply unpleasant. Yeah, 0 out of 10 do not recommend. Oh. That being said, if you're ever in Toronto and you happen to pass Jimmy's Coffee, the brand muffins are off the hook. Just putting that out there. Anyways, Monk says, whenever a place turns up the volume, I'm pretty much guaranteed to leave in the next 5 minutes. I have never liked being in places where the music is super, super loud. It's just, you know, this is a place where I'm gonna have to speak to you, and the fact that there's music on at all is already adding, like, an extra layer of complication with regard to, like, my being able to communicate, because I used to think I was just a bit hard of hearing, but it turns out that no, I'm just not as good at, like, filtering out sounds to focus on the ones that I need to be hearing. So any additional, like, noise on top of that is just adding to the confusion. And if you like blast it, no, do not want. It was bad. Anyways, so yeah, that was not pleasant, but yeah, anyways, I wonder if that donut place is still there in Toronto where I got those donuts from. I don't know, because it was several years ago. I was in Toronto earlier this year, but I wanted to try and visit some new places that we hadn't been to before, to do things other than donuts, like butter tarts. There was a butter tart place that we went to that was like, it was, again, one of these sort of locations that feels very kind of, am I sure I'm in the right place? Sort of, you know when you're looking for something and you're like, I'm not sure I'm in the right place, because it just feels like it wouldn't be the location for a place like this. But it was just on, like, it was just this little unit on the ground floor of, like, I think an office block, surrounded by office blocks, and there was pretty much nothing else kind of within that, like, street. It was quite near to the hospital, I think. But I had heard through the grapevine that this place did really good butter tarts, and I'm picky about butter tarts because my grandma's butter tarts were like the best butter tarts that anyone has ever made in the world. And she took that recipe with her when she passed, which I'm still very sad about. Because I miss my grandma, not because of the butter tart recipe. Though I mean slightly because of the butter tart recipe. But mostly because I miss my grandma. She was a hell of a lady. Oh, this is, I need to stop talking. This is looking bad for me. But anyways, this place I would say had like the second best butter tarts I've had. Like, not quite grandma's butter tarts, but you know, in terms of quality, pretty close to grandma's butter tart quality. I was impressed. I was very impressed. And again, really unassuming location. I would not have thought to go to there if I hadn't seen, I would never have found it if I hadn't seen, and heard that it was good. But it was good. It was real good. Which of these colors makes a fog? I'm thinking this one. I'm thinking this one with maybe a hint of another one. I'm gonna see. I'm not gonna do like a wet wash under this. I'm just gonna do just like a super light dusting of this. And that's all. I think that's all I want to do. So I think I'm gonna mix a little bit of that with a little bit of this one to get, hopefully, some kind of like misty grayish blue color, and then just sheer it out as much as I can, because I really want there to be very little color happening here. I miss butter tarts, says Tels. They're so good. Ugh. I can't believe I feel like I really took for granted when I had regular access to the old butter tart, because they don't sell them here in the UK. Very, very hard to find here. And very, how shall I say? I'm nervous to try and make them myself most of the time, because, well, like, making an entire batch of butter tarts just for me and my moderator/spouse feels like a lot, because we're just two people, and I'm gonna end up needing to make, like, probably, I don't know, how many tarts in the tart tin that I own. I think it's like 12. I would end up probably making about a dozen butter tarts, and that's a lot for my person and I to get through. And I don't really have a lot of people locally that I can share with, so that's a lot for the two of us, but also, I just know that any butter tarts that I make aren't going to be as amazing as the ones that I remember. And I guess I could work at that, but that means even more batches and even more iterations of the butter tart, and again, that's a lot of butter tarts for two people to eat. So, yeah. I should probably explain what butter tarts are for anyone who's here who is not a Canadian person, because I realize that it is somewhat potentially of a niche food stuff. If you're familiar with, like, the sort of gooey, brown, sugary buttery filling of something like a pecan pie. It's not dissimilar to that. Normally, it doesn't have nuts, though sometimes they do, though I don't think they should personally, but they can have raisins. And personally, I am very happy for them to have raisins. Raisins or no raisins, I'm happy. I know that can be a contentious issue for some individuals. Some people are very like vehemently team raisin, and some people are very vehemently team no raisins. But it's got this sort of gooey filling that's made with like brown sugar or maple syrup sometimes, and butter and eggs, and it sets up into a kind of weird like buttery custard situation, but it's not really custardy, but the eggs give it a little bit of solidity that it would not otherwise have. There is a lot of debate as to whether you want as to what is the appropriate amount of gooiness that you want to your filling. Some people insist that the filling should be like, you bite into the butter tart and the filling runs out, so it's quite a loose, like fluid filling. Some people feel that it should be a fairly solid filling, so you can see teeth marks when you take a bite into it. So there's variation in terms of that kind of thing, but basically that's the gist of it, is that it is very sweet. It's kind of got a caramelized, maple syrupy, brown sugary filling. Maybe raisins, maybe not raisins. It hurts your teeth. It is so freaking sweet. And it's encased in an equally buttery pastry. But yeah. Oh no! I have more butter tarts to eat, shrug, says Tals. Yeah. Monk says, I'm not really hearing a problem. You do you. Yeah, I mean, I know, but also, listen, like, I'm over 40, so I have to watch things like my cholesterol. So, annoyingly, I kind of have to keep my amounts of treats in check these days, which is very annoying. Anyways. Sparkling Hello says, butter tarts freeze well. This is true. Oh, you're talking me into it. You're talking me into it. I gotta say. You are. Sparkling Hello goes on to say, reminds me, I should ask my mom if she has a recipe for butter tarts. Yes, do it. If you have a loved one who makes a good butter tart, ask if they're willing to part with the recipe. I wish I had done that with my grandma. I really do. But I don't know. I was youngish at the time, and I didn't care enough about like baking and stuff yet. That kind of resurged a little bit later into my like actual adulthood. I think I was like pre-university at this point. But yeah. Monk says, I used to eat expired butter tarts in the walk-in cooler when I used to work at Shoppers Drug Mart. Oh man. That sounds like, honestly, that sounds kind of great. I love that. Tell says, me too, sigh, but I can dream. Yeah. Yeah. Anywho. I worked in a bakery briefly when I first moved to this city. And I gotta say, the nicest thing about working in the bakery was definitely just like, if a bag of bagels happened to fall into my purse at the end of the day, yeah. Anyways. Oh. I did actually, the day that I rage quit the bakery, I just literally I took like a huge plastic bag and just like shoved bagels into it to take home, because I was like, F this place. I hate it here. I'm stealing your bagels. And I stole their bagels and then I left. It was the best day of working there was the day I left. It was a terrible job. But yeah. Anywho. I would not go back to doing that kind of job. I love baking. I would not work in someone else's commercial bakery again. It was not pleasant. But I think also it's one of those things where like, oh, it's a local independent business. We celebrate and support those. And nominally, for the most part, we do, but sometimes they're still run by people who suck. And in this case, most of the people who worked there were pretty nice, apart from one guy who I hated. But apart from that one guy who I hated, everyone was really nice. Except, there were, like, ongoing safety issues. And when I tried to raise the safety issues, they were like, yeah, we can't do anything about that, just deal with it. And I was like, okay, guess I'll die. Like, it was not cool. It was very, very not cool. Anyways, I'm just gonna put it out there. If you run a place of business where people are, you know, dealing with giant ovens and, super high temperatures and potentially dangerous equipment, you kind of need to make provisions to make sure that they're able to actually work in a way that is not actively putting them in danger. Controversial, I know, but here we are. Anyways. Okie dokie. Almost finished with the fog color. Oh, goodness gracious. I may well do fog color and then call it for the day, actually. I know we haven't finished the piece precisely, but oftentimes I find, despite being like some of the easiest portions of the painting to do, the broadest strokes tend to take the longest amount of time. Just because, like, for instance, we needed to wait for the background to dry. But I'm gonna wanna be sure that these, like, window sections are dry before coming in and trying to add, like, details into the fog, really. And I do want to add some more details into the fog, like a suggestion that there are trees you can't see very well because they are obscured by fog, that kind of thing. Drawing in fog is very satisfying. And I hope that I can capture some of the vibe of that day that I had the other day that was just, it was just so freaking foggy. It was so good. Anyways, I don't like, can you see the difference on stream, like the color that I painted in, because it is incredibly subtle, but I do think that makes a difference. And I do think that it will add something to the piece when we are done. So I'm happy with that. This painting looks really jank right now, but I'm confident that it will hopefully look cute when we finish it on Thursday. Do I want to do anything else before we finish? Okay, actually, yeah, I'm going to do one more thing before we finish. And that is to just get a bit of I'm going to use this bad boy. And I'm going to pick up just a little bit of it. And once again, I'm going to, just shear that way out. Because I think on these little snowy sections, I'm just going to do a little bit of this. Just little snow shadows for the bits that are kind of interior and probably not getting hit with quite as much light. But there's still snow, so it's subtle as heck. Hopefully it's subtle as heck. But hopefully it's still visible. Otherwise, why do I bother? But, you know, I think sometimes there are aspects of painting where I look at it and I'm like, it does not look like I did anything to this. But then I remember that it's kind of like adding coffee to a chocolate cake. It's not necessarily about that being super demonstrable in its impact. It is about that being a little something that enhances other aspects of the piece, even if it's not like an obvious feature at the end of it. And that is important to me, and I think is indeed an important part of painting sometimes, is to put things... I'm so sorry for the shaky cam. Is everybody okay? Oh my goodness. You know, sometimes we do go over a little bit of turbulence in the process of painting, and I do apologize that we seem to hit a little bit of a patch of turbulence just then, but hopefully everybody's okay. But yeah, that is super subtle, but hopefully it will... Hopefully it's done something. I don't know, but I think I am going to call it there for today because I am a tired bear, and I'm still sick, and I really need to rest, have some dinner, do all that jazz, and come back nice and refreshed on Thursday, hopefully. So let me take a look and see if there's anyone that we can do a little raid on. Thank you for listening to Toronto talk today. I don't know why it got so Torontonian, but I'm happy it did because I like the Greater Toronto area, and I miss it. It's nice, and yeah, it was a good time. I hope y'all had a good time. Oh my goodness, so many cool people are live. What the heck am I gonna raid? Who have I not raided recently? I don't know. I was away for a while. I came back late last week, but I was away for a while before then, so I genuinely don't remember who we have or haven't raided recently. Samantha says Thor's Day, where we honor the god of thunder by doing arts, and I really hope that he likes them, because I'm trying my best. Anyways, I'm gonna take a look and see. Let me just check. Because I think, let me just double check that I haven't forgotten recently rating. Okay, yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna check and make sure that this person isn't just about to finish, because that would be mildly embarrassing. But doing some artwork as well. And hopefully... Ah, cool. Yeah, let's go say hi to Casey, who's doing some ducks today. Thank you so much for hanging out, by the way. It's been really, really nice seeing y'all again. Thanks again to Sammy Ann and to Jam for the raids. Do go give them a follow if you have not. And you would like to do that. You know what? I feel like because we've been drawing ghost stuff, we should probably use a ghost emote for the raid message. So I'm going to pop a generic raid message into the chat. Feel free to grab the message if you would like to join in. Feel free to grab the emotes if you have the emotes. If you are not subbed and you would like to append any cool emotes that you do have available to you, please be my guest and do so. But regardless, thank you all for hanging out with me today. It's been lovely seeing you as always. It's been lovely hanging out, chatting about this, that, and the other. I think we've got the bones of a cute painting here, I hope. Fingies crossed. And I'll be back working on it, hopefully, on, what's it day? So, yeah, thanks all for hanging out today. It's been very, very, very nice. Have a wonderful everything. Thank you. Be back on Thursday. Take care. I don't think ghosts have bones, says Monk. I honestly have not thought about it. Have a good one, everyone. Take care. Goodbye and good night.